Coming up on Birmingham News tonight.
New ways of funding, new ways of empowering people to overcome the disease of addiction. This is the future for us. Change is at the very forefront of that future, here in Birmingham. Does that even make sense to you, Aaron?
Of course, it looks very different now to what it did back in August 1981, but this is where 24-year-old Nova Welsh's body was found at a block of flats here on Lightthorne Avenue. She'd been strangled and dumped in a cupboard, police say weeks before she was eventually found. I'm on a quest to discover how prevalent jihadism is in Birmingham, the causes of radicalisation, and how people in the region feel about it.
Islam is a religion of peace, terrorists, they're animals, they got enough to do with Islam.
I just felt trapped, as if there was no way out, and sorry, I'll just be a bit.
Do you think that, the concert where there would have been a lot of young children there, that was specifically targeted?
Oh, I'm sure it was specifically targeted. And if you look at some of the utterings of so-called Islamic State, of ISIS, they deliberately target women and children.
I mean, inside there, the guards have now taken control. Remember, the inmates had control of the prison for around 12 hours. The scene here is very different to what it was on New Year's Day. At around 7 a.m, firefighters were called to this house behind me on 4th Avenue, where a fire had broken out on the first floor. Inside, they found a 54-year-old grandmother who had sadly died as a result. And although police investigations are still ongoing, one thing that we know is that with the Wolverhampton case, that was a domestic issue.
How big of a problem is domestic knife crime at the moment?
With the 3 incidents which have happened recently, it is a problem.
To 10,000 people shouting nigger, nigger, throwing bananas on the pitch. I had a bullet through the post.
It was time for one more chat with Jazz to discuss what will happen next and what needs to be done to prevent these attacks from taking place, full stop. And with the emphasis being placed on the importance of books for the future, the people of Sutton will hope that the council are on the same page. 26-year-old James Brindley was walking home after a night out in the town centre in Aldridge at the Wetherspoons, drinking with friends. He was on his way home, and what happened next is not quite clear yet. All that we know is that James was attacked and stabbed in the heart at around 11:45. As you would expect, there's a somewhat somber feel here at the moment, as the local community are still in shock after what has happened here on Greyhound Lane in Stourbridge. But it will undoubtedly be her personality that will live in the hearts of so many. So many questions, they all need answering, and fast.
We need individuals in our community that are going to document what's going on in our communities fairly, not just showing the negativity, but also the positivity. And Aaron Wiggins is one of those individuals that come into our community and document it fairly.